What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, man. And look, I gotta be honest with y'all, dog. I'm just as surprised as everyone else is about the results of the Eastern Conference Final MVP. I'm not gonna even flex. I'm not gonna front. I thought that they was joking around, but then when you go look at the numbers, man, Siakam handled his business. I mean, you know, he averaged more points, more rebounds, you know what I'm saying? He had huge impacts, you know, throughout the playoffs, you know, 39-point performance, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I guess it's not that far-fetched. I'm not going to flex, dog. I haven't really been watching a whole lot of Indiana, you know what I'm saying? But all you hear about is, you know, Tyrese Halliburton. That's all you hear about, you know what I'm saying? So when he didn't get the Eastern Conference Finals MVP or whatever they call it, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of taken aback by it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, dog. So it made me go hunt down some numbers, and Siakam did his thing. So I mean, as crazy as it maybe felt for a lot of people, you know, he did his thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, one could argue that his numbers are not what they are if you don't have a Tyrese Halliburton on your team to draw that attention. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you can kill. But, man, Pascal Siakam, he got a lot of the defenders that he got was probably that second and third defender. You know, Tyrese is gonna get the best defender. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get their best defender. But Siakam he was able to take advantage of, you know, lesser defenders, man. You know, so you can't be mad at that, bro. It was definitely shocking. You know, definitely shocking. And from the looks of it, shit, Halliburton was shocked too. He was shocked too. But with that being said, man, I think OKC and Indiana, man, I think that they appear to be a decent matchup on paper, bro. But I think OKC probably gonna gentleman sweep them, dog. I think OKC about to really run away if they don't full on. I just think they got. It seems as if they have too much, man. You know, and the two young teams. Neither team has won an NBA championship, so the league is about to crown a new champion. At least to my knowledge, Indiana ain't never won a championship, and neither has OKC. So the NBA is getting ready to crown a new champion, which is cool, man. I think that that's pretty awesome that we about to see a brand new champion, a team that has never won a championship. The other thing I wanted to talk to y'all about, dog, that I've been seeing a lot of people bring up, and, you know, I think that sometimes we don't see the glass, you know, half full. We kind of look at the glass half empty. And a lot of people brought up this idea that, you know, or tried to diminish Kobe's, you know, playoff runs and stuff like that, and talked about, you know, him being up 3-1 against the Suns and losing that series. And while for a long time, dog, I really looked at that as, and I'm gonna be honest, a blemish on Kobe's record, man, because I mean he was doing something that was so special during that time, man. And, you know, that was one of those feats that if he could have pulled that off, that would have been special, you know, because if you beat the #1 team, then you got a great chance of going and beat all the other teams, you know what I'm saying? And they took that Phoenix Suns team, you know, to the wire, you know. So I used to always look at that like, man, I wish, you know, things were different, because we all kind of felt like, man, Kobe just didn't shoot, you know, he didn't come out and perform the way that we expected him to perform, right? And when you watch the interview and, you know, watch him answer that question, he talked about the scheme and how, you know, the Suns expected him to be aggressive, but he needed his teammates to get going. He needed them to be more aggressive because he know that he can get his shots. So what he said made sense, but it just didn't sit right with me. Then, you know, a lot of people bring up the fact that Kobe was asking for a trade. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to get out of LA. He was tired of losing. You know what I'm saying? Like he got tired of it. And he was willing to force his way out of LA. But then I thought about the genius of Kobe. I thought about how looking back at that situation, what really happened and how that Sun series changed the trajectory of Kobe's career, dog. That is the most important loss of his career. That Sun series. That is the most important loss of Kobe Bryant's career, dog. More important than losing any finals. That him losing that series was more important than his 08 loss to Boston, his 04 loss to Detroit. I'm talking more important is right up there with his 2 air balls that he shot. You know what I'm saying? Those things were extremely important to Kobe because it's what propelled him to continue to build on his greatness. It could have made or break him, you know what I'm saying? And those experiences, you know, him shooting them air balls, you know, he learned from that and he pulled that you know, that fear, that feeling and that experience and used that as fuel to come back and, you know, never have that feeling again, you know. So I think that is what made him want to be a better closer, want to be that clutch person that we all are familiar with him being. But if you ask me, dog, if Kobe Bryant don't lose that Sun series, bro, if they don't lose that Sun series, when they up 3-1, if they don't lose that series, bro, Kobe is not in any GOAT conversations, bro. He's not in any GOAT debates. It would have been hard to put him in the conversation. And I say that because guess what? If Kobe beats the Phoenix Suns, the #1 team in the Western Conference, the management would have never got Kobe help, dog. Because you just beat the Phoenix Suns with the team that we put around you. You know what I'm saying? You just beat the Phoenix Suns with that team. So why would we go out and get you a Paul Gasol? Why would we put better pieces around you when you just showed us that you can beat whoever you want to beat? So the organization would have continued to try to save money, give Kobe little, you know, shitty pieces here and there, because guess what? He gonna get that team over the hump. So by him losing that series, bro, and doing everything that he did, it forced management to get him help. If he wins that series, we don't get Paul Gasol. You know what I'm saying? We don't get the pieces around him, you know, that takes him to that next level, that allows him to get to that next level and win back-to-back championships. You don't get a Paul Gasol, you know what I'm saying? You probably don't get to keep a Lamar Odom. You know, you don't get a Artest or a Ariza. You know what I'm saying? Him losing that series, bro, in my opinion, was the most important thing that ever happened in his career, bro. Because if he would have won the series, he wouldn't have got the help he needed. Similar, you know, situation with Michael Jordan, bro. You know, with Michael Jordan, I think that, you know, people look at what would have happened if Michael Jordan, if that Bulls team didn't break up. But you got to think, if Michael Jordan and that Bulls team go into the, you know, the 99 season, they stay assembled. They go into that season, they don't break it up in 98, right? A lot of the iconic things that we remember about Michael Jordan, all of that shit changes, because guess what? You don't have the pose as the last image of Michael Jordan and him being 6-0 in the finals. So now you got more blemishes to add on. And I think that's been LeBron's biggest thing. He's played so long to the point where there's so many holes to shoot at. You know what I'm saying? With MJ, by him leaving, you know what I'm saying? It kind of limited what people can say about his career and about his game and about him. He left out on top, you know. Nobody really counts him coming back to the Wizards, dog, at age 40. Nobody was expecting him to come back and really be competitive. People was just happy to see him back, you know, on the court. The nostalgia, the feeling of him being back on the court. You know what I'm saying? Nobody thought that he was going to come back and take the Wizards to the NBA championship, dog. Like, around that time, nobody was thinking that. People were just happy to see him back in uniform. But them breaking that team, that Bulls team up, dog, and that championship being the last vision of Michael Jordan, dog, is really what gives him this aura. Is kind of what gives him this goldish type feel. Imagine if they would have came back the next season and then, you know, lose to the Spurs. You know what I'm saying? So then your last image of Michael Jordan is him losing, walking off the court, taking an L. You know what I'm saying? What if he comes back that next season and he's not as great? You know what I'm saying? You know, so then your last image of him is him not being as great. So I think that the things that we try to hold, we think about that, you know, were negatives in these people, in both Michael and Kobe's careers, were actually the best thing that ever happened to them, dog. The other thing I wanted to touch on, man, I'm getting low on time because my phone gonna start saying I ain't got no memory. The other thing I want to touch on is this idea that Tim Duncan was the player of the decade in the 2000s, right? Over Kobe, right? Because they want to say Kobe not even in the conversation. He was never the best player, right? So they want to say Tim Duncan is the best player. So here's the thing. Here's why I say Kobe was better and was the player of the decade. Kobe won all of his championships within that 10-year period. Tim Duncan only has 3 championships in the 2000s, dog. 3. Only has 3 in that time span. He 8 in Jordan's era, that last year, in 99, and then he 8 in LeBron's era in 2014. In Kobe's era, he only got 3. Then the other reason I say is because people voted that Kobe was the best player in that time period, that he was the player of the decade. Like, so this idea that Tim Duncan was ever better than Kobe, dog, let's just stop it, bro. He, you know, you want to say he the greatest power forward of all time, cool, but let's relax, bro, with this idea that he was better than Kobe in that time span. He didn't win more championships than Kobe, and he wasn't voted the player of the decade. So it's neither here nor there. Anyway, man, that's all the time I got for y'all today. I appreciate all of the comments, man. You know, people that stopping by and visiting for the first time, bro. I love seeing those comments, man. It lets me know that you guys are getting value out of the conversations that we're having. So thank you. And thank you to everybody that's revisiting, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, staying up to date with your boy and checking in and seeing what I got to offer, bro. I appreciate all of the, you know, reoccurring people that's visiting and watching and, you know, tapping in as well. Man, y'all, if you're new to the channel, bro, if this your first time, man, please tap in. I do check the comments, man. I love having these conversations and pulling topics from the comments, bro. Sometimes I even pin a comment on the video so that people can kind of, you know, see what's going on and see what the topics are. And, you know, if it's something that really catches my eye, I definitely will pin it on there for y'all. But man, I'm enjoying this, man, having a good time conversating with y'all, and man, we're gonna keep the videos coming. So till the next one, bro, I'll see y'all. Peace.